They thought he was just another black man standing on his lawn. Three cruisers, flashing lights, and angry voices, all over nothing. By the time the truth came out, reputations would crumble, badges would fall, and the video would reach millions around the world. Before we continue, welcome to Voices Unchained. Please like this video, subscribe, and comment where you're watching from. We love seeing how far these stories travel. Meet Dave Morris, a husband, a father, a soldier. For 2 decades, he served his country in silence, far from the spotlight. A Delta Force commander, trained for missions most people never hear about. He'd faced deserts, jungles, ambushes, and the kind of nightmares that never fade. But now, his war was supposed to be over. He'd moved his family, his wife, Kate, his teenage son, Jeremy, and their little girl, Ava, to a quiet suburban neighborhood, a place where his kids could ride bikes, laugh, and grow without fear. He was known locally as the tall, the quiet black guy at the corner house. Few knew what he had seen or done. He didn't need recognition. Peace was all he ever wanted. The antagonists. Across town, Sergeant Hall was rolling down that same street, irritation already tightening his jaw. The radio call came in. Suspicious male on Cedar Lane, possibly matching description from a prior report. Caller Robert Blake. Blake, a man who'd called the police 3 times in 2 months about unknown black males in his neighborhood, never once producing proof. Yet here they were again, 3 patrol cars strong. Hall liked to assert control. He was the type who saw defiance where there was only dignity. Behind him, 2 younger officers, Carter and Lowe, followed orders without question. To them, it was routine. To the family they were about to confront, it would be trauma. It was a warm afternoon. Kate was trimming hedges while little Ava sat beside her, Race humming as she arranged fallen leaves into shapes. Jeremy was on the sidewalk shooting hoops against the portable rim by their driveway. Dave had just picked up the mail when the cruisers pulled up, tires grinding, doors slamming, red and blue lights bouncing off every surface. Kate looked up, confused. Dave, what's happening? Jeremy stopped dribbling, eyes wide. Sergeant Hall barked the moment his boots hit the ground. Hands on the hood, now. Dave frowned, calm but firm. Open quote. Excuse me, what's this about? Close quote. The second officer, Carter, stepped forward, hand on his weapon. ID, now. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Dave shook his head slowly. I'm standing on my own property. I haven't done anything wrong. Kate, voice sharp with fear, called out, He's on his property. You don't get to talk to him like that. Her defiance only poured fuel on their anger. Lowe pointed toward Jeremy. Hey, drop the ball. Hands where I can see them. Jeremy froze. I'm just holding a basketball. Kate rushed forward, trembling. He's a child. The neighbors had started to come out now, phones in hand, cameras recording. The quiet street had turned into a stage. Dave stood tall, jaw tight, watching his son's fear, his wife's shaking hands. That was what enraged him the most. Not the shouting, not the shoves, but the way they'd turned his home into a battlefield. You're making a mistake, he said evenly. Hall sneered, stepping closer. The mistake is you not obeying an officer's orders. Before Dave could answer, Lowe shoved him in the chest. Dave didn't move. He didn't even flinch. His stillness made them uneasy. Kate shouted, voice cracking, Stop it! He served this country. He doesn't deserve this. He's Kate, Dave interrupted firmly. Stay back. I'll handle this. Jeremy shouted, That's my dad. He didn't do anything wrong. You're scaring my mom. The younger officer hesitated for a moment, guilt flickering across his face, but Hall barked, Shut it down. Everyone follow my lead. Close quote. Dave took a slow breath. Years of training kicked in, reading body language, gauging escalation. He could end this with a single revelation, but he held it, because he shouldn't have to. If this story already has you on edge, don't just watch. Like this video. Share it. Stories like these deserve to be seen by everyone. Hall jabbed a finger toward Dave's face. Last warning, hands on the hood or you're gonna jail. Dave straightened, voice low and commanding, years of battlefield authority suddenly returning. You don't know who you're dealing with. The air shifted. Even the younger officers stepped back slightly. He looked Hall square in the eye. I've led men into war zones you couldn't imagine. I've stood face to face with death and didn't blink. You think I'm going to cower on my own front lawn? The crowd murmured. Someone whispered, Did he just say commander? Hall's smirk faltered. What's that supposed to mean? Dave took a single step closer, calm, precise. You're standing in front of a Delta Force commander who's bled for this flag. You've shoved me, threatened my family, and humiliated my son, all on my property. And you think's how you serve the public?" The silence was deafening. The younger officers lowered their eyes. Kate's tears streamed down her face. Jeremy's fists trembled at his sides. "You think shoving me works?" Dave continued. "You're trying to intimidate someone who's been ambushed by trained killers. The only reason I'm standing here calm is because I won't let my son watch his father dragged away like a criminal." Hall's face went pale. His arrogance cracked. The crowd's murmurs grew louder, cameras capturing every word. Dave leaned in just enough for Hall to hear. "You'll leave here tonight knowing you laid hands on a man who defended your right to wear that badge. Remember that." Hall looked around, the neighbors, the phones, his own officers, and finally muttered, "Let's go." One by one, the cruisers reversed off the lawn, red and blue lights fading into the distance. Dave didn't move until the last sound of sirens was gone. Kate ran into his arms. Jeremy followed, wrapping his arms around his father's waist. Ava clung to his leg, confused but sensing the tension. "Why didn't you tell them sooner?" Jeremy asked softly. Dave knelt, resting a steady hand on his son's shoulder. "Because I shouldn't have to show my medals just to be treated like a human being. I only said it to keep you safe." By morning, the footage had gone viral. The clip spread like wildfire. Neighbors' videos, phone angles, live reactions. Headlines read, "Police confront Delta Force commander in racially charged incident." Within hours, the department launched an investigation. The chief issued a public apology. But it wasn't enough. Days later, Dave stood before the police station with Kate and Jeremy beside him, microphones in his face, the American flag waving behind them. "We're not here for revenge," Dave told reporters. "We're here for accountability, for justice, and for respect." The next day, the three officers were terminated. Internal reviews confirmed they had violated multiple protocols. Sergeant Hall was charged with assault and misconduct. As for Robert Blake, the man whose false report started it all, his name became synonymous with everything wrong in the system. He moved out a month later, too ashamed to show his face. That evening, the Morris home was quiet again. Dave sat on the porch, the golden sunset reflecting off the windows. Jeremy joined him, still shaken. "Were you scared, Dad?" he asked. Dave nodded slowly. "Yeah, but not for me, for you. I didn't want you thinking this kind of thing is normal." Jeremy stared down at his sneakers. "You didn't even raise your voice." Dave smiled faintly. "Sometimes strength isn't about shouting louder. It's about standing still when the world tries to move you." Kate stepped out with Ava asleep in her arms. She sat beside him, leaning her head on his shoulder. For the first time in hours, the air felt peaceful. That clip of Dave's calm defiance spread far beyond their neighborhood. It became a statement, a reminder that dignity could be a weapon stronger than rage. If this story moved you, don't let it end here. Share it, like it, tell someone about it. Because the next time someone judges another by their color or their quietness, remember this: the calmest man in the room might be the one who's already fought every battle worth fighting.